I'm at this weird place right now in my life where people's perception of me can be one thing. You know, it's like lights, camera, action. It looks like life is just awesome and it's beautiful. And I mean, I'm grateful it is. But I want people to know it's not all peaches. It's been a lot of work to get here. Man first, music second. So everything that encompasses me being the man I need to be. So that starts with God and trickles down to how I parent, how I husband, how I handle my finances, like everything. I want to be a solid man first. I was born on the south side of Houston. Yeah. What I do in music naturally, it just tumbles out of me based on what was put into me. And a lot of that has to do with the city. I like a little bit of edge. I like to feel a little bit of angst. I want it to be a little bit tough. I think that's Houston.
I think what Nate brings to the Houston sound of musicianship is structure and order. So he can do all the tricks and, the paradiddles that any other drummer can do, but he has a way of controlling himself so that singers and artists can sing on top of it and work with him.
I grew up in a really solid church community. It's really like a family. Like, all these people have known me since I was a baby, and I know them, and it just feels like a big family.
We met here at Greater St. Matthews at church. Of course, he was the drummer. I sang in the choir. Nate sang one solo one time in the young boys choir, and from then on, he was a drummer.
He was kind of quiet, very conservative. He didn't really go outside and play a lot. He was just really into music.
To see him at the age of 3 play a set of drums, even though it was not the real big set, but to see him, his coordination and everything on there, I said, no, that's God-given. There's nothing we can do except just nurture that.
He was beating on pots and pans. We had to put locks on the cabinets because he was going to the cabinet, taking out my pots and pans. And around the age of 6, I had a brand new Honda. I left him in the car. When I came back, I had holes in my dashboard. With the pencil lead, he was beating on the dashboard. And he put holes in my car, but you can imagine what happened after that.
Nathan Robinson. Nathan Robinson was one of my incredible percussionists that I had the pleasure of teaching back in the 90s. Nathan started off playing tenor drums, the ones, the chest tenors go like this, and he caught on so quick. So I said, okay, he's playing chest tenors. I said, well, let's move you on to something else. So he picked up the snare sticks and he did that real well. I said, well, this guy is a quick learner. And he had a good attitude. What really floored me is when I saw how he was able to demonstrate his skills on the drum set. And when I saw that, I said, oh my God, this boy here is off the chain.
I wanted to be Nate because he played the drums and he would get a lot of attention.
When I met Nate, the drive that he had most definitely let me know that he had potential to do a lot of things in life.
Houston is a really diverse place. It's a huge city, a lot of different cultures. But then there's also this other part of Houston that's like, it's pretty grimy and it's pretty rough. I learned how to hustle and how to not get swallowed up by the streets. make sure you don't get caught up in certain things. And a lot of that came from being challenged with really negative situations and having to decide, like, do I just let it take me under, or do I try to figure out how to parlay this into a lesson, learn the lesson, apply the lesson, and turn it into like some gold on the other side.
We started looking at things that were going around in the area, where a lot of kids were getting in trouble. A lot of parents were spending hundreds and thousands of dollars trying to get their children out of jail, out of prison, out of problems, situations. We started making sure that we keep them involved with other people who were into the music industry, who were into drums, who could teach him, then go on the back end and try to get him out of trouble.
But he was typical. He played around, goofed off a little bit, chased him around the school. I had to put out a bulletin on him and all that kind of stuff, looking for him. I told him that if he wanted to succeed in life, he has to have discipline.
When I found out that his girlfriend was expecting, I was very devastated.
I went from being a 15-year-old out there on the band field, kicking it with my friends and having a ball, to like, what are y'all doing after school? Oh, I gotta go buy Pampers.
Well, he came to me and he said, Eric, man, I got a baby. I said, a baby? At 14? Wait, man. I said, wait, you sure?
Nate was a father before me, and I'm older, so he was the first young father that I had ever met at that age.
And especially him being 15 and she was a senior in high school, which we didn't really jive on them going together.
My daughter's mom was trying every trick in the book to not let me be involved in my kid's life. So I had to go to whatever tactics I knew. I knew where her church was, so I might not be able to find her Monday through Friday, but I knew where she was gonna be on Sunday.
He hit it full force, like a man should. He worked, played gigs, he played at church, and he took out his responsibility, and now his oldest daughter is graduated from college, so what more can you say about a dad like that?
Anytime that he can get her, he was an awesome father. He didn't put his responsibilities off as no, I didn't want her. And he wanted her so much that, God blessed that she was able to move with him at a very early age, go through high school, go through college.
Nathan sat back there in the back. I don't want to do that. I don't want to play that, Mr. Woodson. I'll tell him right there, I'm going to PVU. All right, you and PVU. And he was just very stubborn about it, okay.
Prairie View A&M University is where we went, and Nate was on the drum line. They call themselves the Box at Prairie View in the band. And we spent a lot of nights studying, but also a lot of nights of Nate practicing in the practice room.
I think that when we first met, Nate was very similar to me, which means that Nate had made some decisions in life that were probably totally contrary to his direction. And I think he was kind of dealing with that kind of, I don't want to say guilt, but just like, man, where am I going next? How am I going to get there next?
I was on the wrong path. I was a little bit of a knucklehead. Not a whole lot of knucklehead, but enough where it would have landed me in the wrong places. It just takes one stupid mistake. And I made tons of stupid mistakes, and God's grace just kind of kept me in this little bubble.
Nathan was able to persevere. And then when he did so well in school and all through college and now as a professional person, it said, there's hope.
That helped me to see how God can really, really work in your life, and can use, the most ratchet individuals. I got the call from the Reach camp. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm over here. And then it's like Christian rap. Nah, I'm way good. I don't want to do that. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get out of my cave for 6 weeks and run out here with these dudes. And that was it. That was the best decision I made.
I think it's literally awesome what he's doing. I mean, that's just another avenue God's opened up with. It was a blessing for him to be hooked up with Lecrae, because what it has done, it has opened up his mind to the world of music in gospel and hip hop, but basically the gospel, getting the gospel out.
And the thing that jumped out at me was like just the camaraderie that was there, like all the stuff I saw, just behind the scenes stuff, before the shows, after the shows, and I just saw these dudes like that seemed to be really close knit and growing together. It's been good for me as a person, and professionally, like musically, it kind of gave me like the best of both worlds, which is what I was always missing, because I didn't want to get stuck in like the church world. That just wasn't me at all. And then I had my time in the secular world. I don't want that either. This gives me a chance to get both, because it's neither one of those. It's its own thing that's kind of right in the middle. You know, it's like dudes who really are great artists, you know, comparable and better than a lot of the artists that are in the mainstream, but dudes that love the Lord.
And you cannot convince him that he is as talented as he really is. And anybody that knows him will tell you the same thing. It's beyond humble. You know, he really doesn't even recognize his true power and influence that he has on people around him. You know, he's stepping into it now, but he hasn't even touched the tip of the iceberg.
I just kind of just hit my creative stride. I'm like just in the studio constantly, just banging them out. So more music is definitely in store.
I've seen Nate grow from a boy to a young man to a grown man now, and to see that from a brother, to look at that every day or just to think about it every day is out of sight.
I'm a simple dude that loves the Lord. I love my wife. I love my family, and I want to work hard. I want to be great at whatever I do. Like, I ask my wife all the time, like, "Hey, do I need to stop?" And she's like, "No, like, no. We appreciate what you do, like, and we support you." Our motto is one day at a time, and we've made it a long way. We're just taking it one day at a time.